The massive alien ship hung in space like a dark cloud. It was 10 times bigger than the largest human vessel. Behind it, 50 smaller ships formed a wall of weapons and armor. Commander Zarthul of the Zilarian Empire stood on his bridge, looking at the blue planet on his view screen, Earth. His scaled lips curled into what his species considered a smile. "Such a pretty world," he said to his second-in-command, "and so poorly defended." The Zilarian fleet had arrived 3 days ago, positioning themselves just beyond the moon. They had ignored all attempts at communication until now. Earth's military forces were on high alert, but everyone knew they were outmatched. The aliens' technology was far beyond anything humans had built. At the United Nations Emergency Council in New York, world leaders gathered to discuss the crisis. The room was tense. Screens showed the alien fleet, hanging like deadly stars above their world. "They're finally responding," said UN Secretary Olivia Martinez. "They want to speak with us." The main screen lit up, showing Commander Zarthul for the first time. His skin was dark green with patches of blue. His eyes were yellow with black slits. He had no hair, but ridges of bone ran from his forehead to the back of his head. When he smiled, he showed 2 rows of sharp teeth. "People of Earth," his voice boomed through translators, "I am Commander Zarthul of the Zilarian Empire. We have studied your world for many years. We have watched your wars, your politics, your entertainment. We know everything about you." He paused, his yellow eyes scanning the human faces. "Your planet has resources we need. Your position in this solar system is valuable to us. We require your complete surrender within 24 hours. If you resist, we will destroy your major cities one by one until you submit." Secretary Martinez stepped forward. "Commander Zarthul, we welcome peaceful contact with other civilizations. We invite you to discuss trade agreements that could benefit both our peoples." The alien commander laughed, a harsh sound like metal grinding. "You offer words when faced with power," he said. "This is why your species will never be great. You humans are cowards. You hide behind diplomacy because you lack the strength to face us in battle." The transmission ended abruptly. The room erupted in voices. In a secure room beneath the Pentagon, Admiral William Hayes watched the replay of the alien's message. His face was grim. At 62, he had served in the Navy for 40 years. He had never imagined facing a threat like this. "Options?" he asked the 6 people sitting around the table. General Rita Sanchez shook her head. "Our conventional weapons would barely scratch their ships. Nuclear options might damage some of their fleet, but they would still have enough firepower to destroy our major cities." "And we don't know what other capabilities they have," added Dr. Ben Miller, the lead scientist. "Their technology is at least a century ahead of ours." Admiral Hayes nodded slowly. "What about the Nightshade project?" The room went quiet. Dr. Miller looked uncomfortable. "It's not ready for deployment," he said. "We've only done 3 test runs. The stealth technology works, but the weapon systems are untested in actual combat." "And there's the matter of who would command it," added General Sanchez. "The Nightshade requires a special kind of officer." Admiral Hayes looked at the screen showing the alien fleet. "Get me Eleanor Frost." In a small apartment in San Diego, Captain Eleanor Frost was packing a bag when her secure phone rang. She was 38 with short brown hair and gray eyes that rarely showed emotion. She was thin but strong, with the look of someone who never wasted energy on unnecessary movements. "Frost," she answered. "Captain, this is Admiral Hayes. I need you in Washington. Now." 4 hours later, Eleanor Frost sat in the same secure room looking at images of the alien fleet. "They call us cowards," Admiral Hayes said. "They think we'll surrender without a fight." "They're probably right about most of us," Frost replied. Her voice was calm, almost distant. "Most people want to live, even under alien rule. But not you." Frost didn't answer directly. "What do you need from me, Admiral?" "We're deploying the Nightshade. It's the only ship that might get close to their command vessel without being detected." Frost raised an eyebrow. "Might?" Dr. Miller cleared his throat. The technology is experimental. The Zalarians use scanning systems we don't fully understand. The mission would be high risk, Admiral Hayes said. Some would call it suicide. And if I succeed, you might give Earth a chance. We need to show these Zalarians that humans aren't cowards, that we can fight back in ways they don't expect. Frost nodded slowly. When do I leave? The Nightshade is being prepared at Lunar Base Alpha. Your crew is being assembled, the best we could find on short notice. I work alone, Frost said. Admiral Hayes shook his head. Not this time. This mission is too complex. You need at least a minimal crew. Frost didn't argue. How many? 12. All volunteers, all aware of the risks. 6 hours later, Captain Eleanor Frost stood in the hangar of Lunar Base Alpha, looking at the USS Nightshade. The ship was unlike any other in Earth's fleet. It was small, only 60 meters long, with a dark hull that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Its shape was odd, not aerodynamic, but something else designed to deflect scanning beams and sensor probes. The 12 crew members stood in a line. They looked nervous when Frost approached. She had a reputation. Some called her cold. Others called her ruthless. In certain military circles, they had a different name for her, the Baba Yaga. I won't lie to you, Frost said. Our chances of survival are low. Our mission is to infiltrate the alien fleet and gather intelligence on their weaknesses. If possible, we will also demonstrate that humans are not as helpless as they believe. A young officer stepped forward. Captain, permission to speak freely? Go ahead, Lieutenant. Lieutenant Maria Diaz, ma'am. Is it true what they say about you? That you once took out 3 enemy ships with just a damaged shuttle? Frost's face revealed nothing. People talk too much, Lieutenant. What matters is our mission now. She looked at the faces before her. Anyone who wishes to stay behind may do so. No questions asked. No one moved. Very well. We launch in 30 minutes. Prepare yourselves. As the crew dispersed, Admiral Hayes approached Frost. The Security Council is still trying to negotiate, he said. But Zarthul isn't interested. He keeps saying the same thing, that humans are cowards who hide behind words. Frost checked her sidearm, a habit from years in the field. Then we'll have to show him something else. The Nightshade wasn't designed for direct combat, Eleanor. Your primary mission is intelligence gathering. Frost finally looked directly at the Admiral. Her gray eyes were cold. With respect, sir, when someone calls my species cowards, intelligence gathering becomes secondary. As she walked toward the Nightshade, one of the technicians whispered to another, That's her, isn't it, the Baba Yaga? Yeah, God help those aliens, they have no idea what they've awakened. The USS Nightshade slipped away from Lunar Base Alpha, its dark hull blending with the blackness of space. Inside the ship, Captain Eleanor Frost sat in the command chair, watching as Earth grew smaller on the main screen. Stealth systems at full capacity, reported Lieutenant Sam Cooper from the tactical station. As far as the Zalarians can tell, we're just background radiation. Good, Frost said. Set course for the edge of their fleet. We need to observe their patrol patterns. Before we go deeper, Lieutenant Maria Diaz handled the controls with steady hands. Though only 28, she was one of the best pilots in the service. She guided the Nightshade toward the alien armada, keeping to the shadow of the moon as long as possible. Captain, said Communications Officer Eric Reed, Admiral Hayes is sending the daily update. The Zalarians have repeated their demand for surrender. The deadline is in 18 hours. Frost nodded. Put it on screen. The main display showed Admiral Hayes. He looked tired. Captain Frost, the Security Council is still divided. Some nations want to fight. Others think surrender is our only option. The Zalarians have demonstrated their weapon capabilities by destroying an abandoned space station. Their technology is concerning. Understood, Admiral. We're approaching their fleet now. We'll report back what we find. Be careful, Eleanor. This isn't just about gathering intelligence anymore. You might be our only shot at showing these aliens that humanity isn't as weak as they think. The transmission ended. Frost turned to her crew. "I want to be clear about our mission," she said. "We're here to gather information, yes. But we're also here to send a message. These aliens think we're cowards. I intend to correct that impression." The crew exchanged glances. They had all heard stories about Captain Frost, about the missions she had led that were still classified, about why some people called her the Baba Yaga. "Ma'am," Lieutenant Cooper asked, "what exactly are we going to do?" Frost's gray eyes revealed nothing. "First we learn, then we hunt." The Nightshade moved silently through space, its advanced stealth technology hiding it from the Zolarian sensors. They spent 6 hours studying the alien fleet, recording their communications, analyzing their ship movements. "They're overconfident," Frost noted. "Their patrol patterns are lazy. They don't expect any resistance." Dr. Olivia Grant, the ship's science officer, looked up from her station. "Captain, I've been analyzing their communications. Their ships use a network system. All commands flow from the main vessel, Zarthul's ship, to the others. A centralized command structure," Frost said. "Interesting. There's more," Dr. Grant continued. "Their ships are powerful, but they have a flaw. Their defense shields operate on rotating frequencies. If we could predict the pattern, we could bypass their shields entirely," finished Chief Engineer Pete Martinez. "But we'd need more data." Frost stood up. "Then we'll get closer." Lieutenant Diaz looked nervous. "Captain, if we get any closer, we risk detection." "Risk is part of the job, Lieutenant," Frost replied. She turned to Cooper. "Prepare a probe. We're going to send it right past their main ship." The small probe, barely larger than a coffee mug, drifted toward the massive Zolarian command ship. It was designed to look like space debris, just another piece of junk floating in orbit. But inside, it carried advanced sensors that recorded everything about the alien vessel. On the Nightshade, they watched anxiously as the probe passed within 100 meters of Zarthul's ship. "They're not reacting," Cooper said with relief. "They don't see it." The probe completed its pass and began transmitting data. Dr. Grant analyzed it, her fingers moving quickly over her console. "This is incredible," she said. "I can see the shield, frequency patterns, and more. I can access some of their computer systems. Their cybersecurity is different from ours, but it has weaknesses." "Can you get into their main systems?" Frost asked. "Not from here, but if we were closer with the right equipment, maybe." Frost made a decision. "Lieutenant Diaz, take us in. Mr. Martinez, I want a boarding team ready." The crew stared at her in shock. "Captain," Cooper said, "you want to board the alien command ship?" "That's exactly what I want to do." "But that's—" Martinez searched for the right word. "Insane?" Frost suggested. "Maybe. But it's also the last thing they expect. They think we're cowering on Earth, debating surrender terms. They won't be looking for a team of humans inside their own ship." For the next hour, they prepared. Martinez selected a team of 4. Himself, security officers Lily Johnson and Paul Green, and Dr. Grant. They studied the alien ship's layout, based on the probe's data. They prepared special equipment designed to interface with alien technology. "The plan is simple," Frost explained. "We approach their ship from below. Their sensors are weakest there. We attach to the hull near this maintenance hatch. The boarding team enters, makes their way to this junction and plants Dr. Grant's device." "And this device will do what exactly?" asked Cooper. Dr. Grant held up a small black box. "It will collect data on their weapon systems, defense capabilities, and command protocols. But it will also plant a virus in their network. Nothing destructive yet. Just a backdoor that we can use later if needed." Frost nodded. "A simple infiltration. In and out in 30 minutes. "And if something goes wrong?" Diaz asked. "Then we adapt," Frost said. "That's what humans do best." The Nightshade approached the massive alien command ship, sliding beneath it like a shark beneath a whale. The contrast was striking. The human vessel was tiny compared to the Zolarian ship. "Holding position 20 meters from target," Diaz reported. Matching velocity perfectly. No sign they've detected us, Cooper added. Their attention is focused on Earth. Frost stood. Mr. Martinez, your team is cleared to proceed. The 4-person boarding team entered the airlock, wearing specialized suits designed for both spacewalking and combat. Martinez looked back at Frost. Captain, if we don't make it back, you will, Frost said. But if something happens, the Nightshade will continue the mission. The team exited through the bottom hatch, using small thrusters on their suits to cross the gap to the alien ship. They attached themselves to the hull, and Security Officer Johnson began cutting through the outer plating near a maintenance hatch. On the bridge, Frost watched through the team's helmet cameras. They're in, Cooper reported. The internal layout of the Zalarian ship was strange. The corridors were taller and wider than human ships, with an odd greenish light. The air was breathable, but had a sulfur smell. No sign of crew in this section, Martinez whispered over the comm. Moving to junction point. They moved through the alien ship like ghosts, avoiding the few Zalarian crew members they encountered. The aliens were tall, at least 7 feet, with scaled skin and powerful limbs. Almost there, Martinez reported. Another 50 meters. Then an alarm sounded. They've spotted us, Johnson said, her voice tense. No, Cooper said from the Nightshade. It's not you. They're going to broadcast another message to Earth. All hands are being called to their stations. Which means this corridor won't be empty for long, Martinez said. We need to hurry. They reached the junction point, a central hub where multiple computer systems connected. Dr. Grant quickly attached her device to an access panel. The small black box lit up, indicating it was working. How long? Martinez asked. 5 minutes. To download their data, another 2 to upload our backdoor program. Make it faster, he said. We've got company coming. The sound of heavy footsteps echoed down the corridor. 2 Zalarian crew members were approaching, talking in their strange language. Hide, Martinez ordered. The team pressed themselves into recesses in the corridor walls. The Zalarians walked past, not noticing the humans. But more would come soon. 3 minutes, Dr. Grant whispered. On the Nightshade, Frost made a decision. Lieutenant Cooper, prepare to broadcast on all frequencies. It's time Commander Zarthul learned that humans are not as predictable as he thinks. On the bridge of the Nightshade, Captain Eleanor Frost made a decision that would change the course of the conflict. Lieutenant Cooper, open a direct channel to Commander Zarthul's ship, she ordered. Let's introduce ourselves. Cooper looked startled. Captain, that will give away our position. I'm counting on it, Frost replied. Lieutenant Diaz, be ready to move on my signal, and someone tell the boarding team to hurry up. Cooper worked at his console. Channel open, Captain. Frost stood in the center of the bridge, her posture straight and confident. This is Captain Eleanor Frost of the Earth vessel Nightshade to Zalarian command ship. Commander Zarthul, I believe you called my species cowards. I'd like to discuss that with you. For several seconds, there was silence. Then the main screen lit up, showing the alien commander. His yellow eyes widened in surprise, then narrowed in anger. What is this? Zarthul demanded. How did a human ship get this close to my fleet without detection? That's the thing about humans, Frost said calmly. We're full of surprises. On the alien ship, Dr. Grant whispered into her comm. Devices active. Data download complete. Backdoor program. Uploading now. Zarthul leaned forward, his scaled face filling the screen. Your puny vessel is no threat to us. This foolish act of bravery will not save your planet. I'm not here to threaten you, Frost said. I'm here to educate you. You see, in human history, there's a figure called Baba Yaga, a witch who lives in the dark forest. Those who enter her domain unprepared don't come out again. The alien commander laughed, a harsh sound like stones scraping together. You dare to tell me children's stories while your world faces destruction? Not a children's story, Frost corrected him. A warning. You entered our solar system uninvited. You threatened our world. You called us cowards because we offered peace instead of war. Because that is what you are, Zarthul snarled. Look at how easily we reached your planet, how weak your defenses are. Weakness and restraint are not the same thing, Commander. Frost's voice remained calm. We choose peace when possible, but when pushed. She nodded to Cooper, who pressed a button on his console. What are you doing? Zarthul demanded as alarms began to sound on his ship. Showing you what happens when humans are pushed, Frost replied. On the alien vessel, Dr. Grant's device had finished its work. It wasn't just collecting data or planting a backdoor, it was also sending specific commands through the Zalarian computer network. Throughout the massive command ship, systems began to fail. Life support flickered, artificial gravity weakened, weapons systems went offline. What have you done? Zarthul roared as the lights on his bridge dimmed. Boarding team, return to the ship immediately, Frost ordered into her comm. Then to Zarthul she said, consider this a demonstration. We could have done much worse. The boarding team was moving quickly back through the alien vessel's corridors. The Zilarians were in chaos, rushing to respond to the system's failures. In the confusion, the humans made it back to their entry point undetected. We're at the maintenance hatch, Martinez reported. Exiting now. On Zarthul's bridge, his second-in-command approached. Commander, we've detected energy signatures near Section 12. There are humans on board. Zarthul's yellow eyes blazed with fury. Find them! Kill them! But it was too late. The boarding team had already exited the ship and was making their way back to the Nightshade. All 4 team members clear of the alien vessel, Cooper reported to Frost. Lieutenant Diaz, take us out, Frost ordered. Nice and slow. I want them to see us leave. The Nightshade disengaged from its position beneath the Zalarian command ship and moved away, its stealth systems deactivated. The small human vessel was fully visible to the alien fleet now. They're targeting us, Cooper warned. Multiple weapons locking on. Evasive pattern Delta, Frost said to Diaz. Show them what this ship can do. The Nightshade moved in ways that should have been impossible, dodging between the massive alien vessels with incredible speed and precision. Weapons fire from the Zalarian ships missed by meters, then by kilometers as the human vessel danced through space. Their weapon systems are still compromised, Cooper noted. Their targeting computers are trying to adjust, but our virus is making it difficult. Frost opened the channel to Zarthul again. As you can see, Commander, humans are far from cowards. We simply choose our battles carefully. Your deadline for Earth surrender ends now. We will not bow to threats. Zarthul was shouting orders to his crew when the transmission cut off. The Nightshade increased speed, heading away from the alien fleet. They're pursuing, Cooper reported. 5 vessels breaking formation to chase us. As expected, Frost said. Lieutenant Diaz, head for the asteroid belt. Let's see how well they can navigate in tight quarters. The Nightshade raced toward the Oe, belt of rocks and ice between Mars and Jupiter, with 5 Zalarian warships in pursuit. Despite being much smaller, the human vessel was faster and more agile. Inside the Nightshade, the boarding team had returned to the bridge. Dr. Grant's face was flushed with excitement. Captain, the data we collected is incredible, she said. Their shield frequencies, weapon specifications, tactical protocols, it's all here, and the virus worked perfectly. It will take them hours to purge it from their systems. Good work, Doctor, Frost said. Now let's make sure we live long enough to use that information. The Nightshade reached the asteroid belt and plunged in, weaving between floating rocks the size of buildings. The Zalarian ships followed, but their larger size made navigation difficult. One of them hit an asteroid, Cooper reported with satisfaction. They've fallen back. The others? Frost asked. Still following, but they're being more cautious now. Frost nodded. Good. Lieutenant Diaz, take us deeper. Find the densest part of the belt. For the next hour, the Nightshade led the alien ships on a chase through the asteroid belt. One by one, the Zalarian vessels gave up the pursuit, unwilling to risk damage to their ships. Finally, Cooper reported, all pursuing vessels have broken off. They're returning to the main fleet. A cheer went up from the crew. Frost allowed herself a small smile. Set course for Earth, she ordered. We need to deliver this data to Admiral Hayes. As the Nightshade emerged from the asteroid belt, Diaz looked over at Frost. Captain, why did you reveal our position to them? We could have completed the mission without them ever knowing we were there. Frost's gray eyes were cold. Because this mission wasn't just about gathering intelligence, Lieutenant. It was about sending a message. Zarthul needed to know that humans aren't what he thought we were. And the name you called yourself, Baba Yaga. Is that what they call you? Diaz asked. Frost didn't answer directly. Get us home, Lieutenant. This was just the first move in a much longer game. Back on his command ship, Zarthul raged at his officers as they worked to restore their systems. The human virus had spread through their network, causing minor but irritating failures throughout the fleet. Find that ship, he ordered. Find that human captain. His second-in-command approached cautiously. Commander, our scouts report the human vessel has escaped, and there is another problem. They accessed our tactical databases. Zarthul turned slowly. What are you saying? They know our weaknesses now, the officer said, and they've proven they can reach us undetected. For the first time since arriving at Earth, doubt crept into Zarthul's mind. These humans were not what he had expected, not cowards hiding behind words after all. Perhaps they were something far more dangerous. The Nightshade returned to Earth orbit 20 hours after its mission began. Admiral Hayes was waiting when Captain Frost and her crew arrived at Lunar Base Alpha. His face showed a mix of relief and disbelief. You actually did it, he said as Frost stepped off the ship. You infiltrated their command vessel and got away with it. We did more than that, Admiral, Frost replied, handing him a data drive. We know how their ships work now. We know their weaknesses. In a secure conference room, Dr. Grant displayed the information they had gathered. Military officers and scientists watched in amazement as the doctor explained what they had learned. Their shields operate on rotating frequencies, she said. If we can predict the pattern, we can time our weapons to hit when the shields are weakest. And their fleet relies too much on their central command structure. When we disrupted Zarthul's ship, it affected the entire fleet. Can we use this? Asked General Sanchez. Admiral Hayes nodded. We can. But we need time to adapt our weapons and prepare our fleet. Zarthul won't give us much time, Frost said. He's angry now, embarrassed. He'll want to prove his strength. As if to confirm her words, the communications officer entered the room. Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the Zalarian fleet. They're moving closer to Earth. The main screen showed Commander Zarthul. His yellow eyes seemed to burn with hatred. People of Earth, he said, your pathetic attempt to defy us has failed. The ship you sent has only delayed the inevitable. We have tracked it back to your moon base. We will destroy it and any other resistance you offer. The transmission ended. Admiral Hayes looked grim. How long until they reach weapons range of the base? He asked. 3 hours, the communications officer replied. Not enough time to implement what we've learned, General Sanchez said. Frost stood. Then we need to buy more time. How? Asked Admiral Hayes. The Nightshade can still fight, Frost said. And we learned something else during our mission. The Zalarians are proud. They value strength and despise weakness. Zarthul is their commander because he's never lost a battle. If we challenge him directly, he might focus on you instead of the moon base or Earth, Hayes finished. Exactly. And in the meantime, your people can prepare our defenses using what we've learned. Admiral Hayes studied her face. This is a suicide mission, Eleanor. Maybe, she admitted, but it's our best option. 2 hours later, the Nightshade launched. Again. The ship had been quickly repaired and refueled. The crew was the same except for one addition, Dr. Ben Miller from the Pentagon. He had helped design the ship and knew its systems better than anyone. The modifications I've made should give you an edge, Dr. Miller explained as they prepared to leave. Your weapons can now be tuned to match their shield frequencies, but you'll need to get close. Too close for comfort. Close is what we do best, Frost said. The Zalarian fleet had moved into a tight formation, with Zarthul's command ship at the center. They were heading directly for the moon, intending to destroy the human base there before moving on to Earth. The Q, Nightshade approached from behind, its stealth systems engaged again. They've improved their scanning, Cooper warned from his station. They'll detect us sooner this time. Good, Frost said. I want them to see us coming. Open a channel to Zarthul. Cooper obeyed, and soon the alien commander appeared on the screen again. You, he snarled when he saw Frost. The human who calls herself Baba Yaga. Hello again, Commander, Frost said calmly. I see you're still intent on attacking a world that offered you peace. You speak of peace while sending ships to attack. Mine. We defended ourselves, Frost corrected him. After you threatened our world. But I'm not calling to argue. I'm calling to offer you a chance to prove your superiority. Zarthul's head tilted slightly. What do you mean? A challenge, ship against ship, your best vessel against mine. If you win, we surrender. If I win, you leave our solar system. The alien commander laughed. You think your tiny ship can defeat mine? I think you're afraid to find out, Frost replied. You call humans cowards, but here I am, offering to face you directly. Are you brave enough to accept? Zarthul's scales darkened with anger. You dare question my courage? I do. Prove me wrong. For a long moment, the alien commander was silent. Then he nodded sharply. Very well, human. I accept your challenge, my ship against yours. But when I destroy you, your world will still surrender. When I defeat you, Frost countered, you will keep your word and leave. The channel closed. Lieutenant Diaz looked at Frost with wide eyes. Captain, their command ship is 10 times our size with weapons to match. I'm aware of that, Lieutenant, Frost said. But size isn't everything. Cooper, transmit everything we know about their shield frequencies to Earth. Even if we fail, they'll need that information. Yes, Captain, Cooper replied, his fingers moving over his console. The Zalarian fleet had stopped its advance toward the moon. The other ships moved aside, creating a clear space. Zarthul's massive command ship turned to face the tiny human vessel. He's accepted, Martinez said, sounding surprised. He's actually going to fight us one-on-one. Solarian culture values, personal combat, Dr. Grant explained. By challenging him directly, Captain Frost appealed to his cultural values. And his ego, Frost added. Diaz, bring us about. Cooper, weapons at full power, everyone to battle stations. The crew moved quickly to obey. The Nightshade turned to face the Zalarian command ship. Despite the enormous size difference, the human vessel did not hesitate. They're powering up weapons, Cooper reported. Targeting systems locked on us. Evasive pattern echo, Frost ordered. Don't make it too easy for them. The Nightshade began to move in an unpredictable pattern, making it harder for the Zalarian ship to target. The alien vessel fired its main weapons, but the human ship dodged at the last second. Our turn, Frost said. Target their forward shield generator. Fire when ready. The Nightshade's weapons might have seemed small compared to the alien ship, but they had been precisely calibrated to the Zalarian shield frequencies. The energy beams passed through the shields as if they weren't there, striking the generator. On the Zalarian ship, alarms sounded as systems failed. Zarthul roared in anger. Impossible! How did they penetrate our shields? His officers had no answer. The human ship was already moving again, targeting another critical system. For the next 30 minutes, the battle continued. The Nightshade was hit several times, suffering damage to its engines and weapons. But the human vessel gave as good as it got, precisely targeting the Zalarian ship's weaknesses. Hull breach on Deck 3, Martinez reported. Emergency force. Fields holding. Weapons down to 40%, added Cooper. We can't take much more of this. Frost nodded. We've done enough. We've proven our point, and we've bought Earth the time it needed. She opened the channel to Zarthul again. The alien commander's bridge was filled with smoke, and several control panels were sparking behind him. Enough, Frost said. We've both proven our strength. This can end now, with both our ships intact, or we can continue until one of us is destroyed. Zarthul's yellow eyes narrowed. You think this small victory means anything? Even if you destroy my ship, the rest of my fleet will annihilate your world. Perhaps, Frost admitted, but they'll do it without you. Is that what you want? To die here, far from home, fighting a battle you don't need to fight? For a long moment, the alien commander was silent. Then, to the surprise of his officers, he laughed. You are not what I expected, human, he said. You are not a coward after all. The battle between the Nightshade and Zarthul's command ship paused. Both vessels hung in space, damaged but still functional. The rest of the Zilarian fleet watched, waiting for their commander's next order. You fought well, Zarthul admitted, to Frost. Your small ship should have been destroyed in minutes. Size isn't everything, Frost replied. Neither is technology. Sometimes it's about how you use what you have. The alien commander studied her. What happens now, human? That depends on you, Frost said. You can continue this fight and risk losing everything, or you can choose a different path. At that moment, Lieutenant Cooper spoke up. Captain, I'm picking up multiple signals from Earth. Our fleet is moving. On the main screen, they could see dozens of human ships rising from Earth. Some were military vessels. Others were civilian craft that had been quickly modified for battle. They formed a line between Earth and the alien fleet. Admiral Hayes appeared on a secondary screen. Captain Frost, we've adapted our weapons using the data you provided. All ships now have the ability to penetrate Zilarian shields. We've also shared this information with every nation on Earth. Frost nodded and turned back to Zarthul. It seems the rest of humanity is just as tired of being called cowards as I am. For the first time, uncertainty showed in the alien commander's eyes. His fleet was powerful, but with their shield weakness exposed, a battle would be costly. You knew this would happen, he said to Frost. You challenged me to buy time. I challenged you because you needed to learn something about humans, Frost corrected him. We don't want war. We offered peace when you arrived. But if pushed, we will fight. And we will use every advantage we can find. Zarthul was silent for a long moment. Then he spoke, but not to Frost. He turned to his officers and gave an order in his own language. They looked surprised but obeyed. I have ordered my fleet to pull back, he told Frost. Not to retreat, but to establish a neutral position. A wise decision, Frost said. I would speak with your leaders, Zarthul continued. Not about surrender, but about possibilities. Frost raised an eyebrow. Possibilities? My empire sent us here for resources, for strategic position. But there may be ways to achieve these goals without conquest. Admiral Hayes cut in. Are you suggesting some kind of agreement, after threatening our world? Zarthul's scales shifted color slightly, a sign of discomfort in his species. In the Empire, strength is respected above all. We thought your kind was weak because you sought peace, but you have proven otherwise. So now you're willing to talk? Hayes asked, his voice skeptical. I am, Zarthul replied. The Baba Yaga has shown me that there is more than one kind of strength. 2 days later, Captain Eleanor Frost sat in a conference room at the United Nations. The damage to the Nightshade had been repaired, and her crew was resting. Now she watched as human leaders and Zilarian representatives discussed terms. Commander Zarthul had agreed to a diplomatic solution. The Zilarians would not attempt to conquer Earth. Instead, they proposed trade agreements and cultural exchange. They were particularly interested in human creativity and adaptability, traits their own species sometimes lacked. Admiral Hayes sat down beside Frost. You don't look happy for someone who just saved the world. I'm cautious, she replied. Zarthul changed his mind quickly. He's a soldier like us, Hayes said. He understands when a battle isn't worth the cost. And he's intelligent enough to see potential allies instead of just enemies. Frost nodded. Let's hope so. The doors opened, and Commander Zarthul entered with his advisors. The conference room went quiet as the alien leader approached Frost. Captain, he said, inclining his head slightly. My advisors tell me I should speak with other human leaders, those with official authority. They're right, Frost agreed. I'm Just a ship captain. Zarthul made a sound that might have been a laugh. We both know you are more than that. In my culture, we have a term for warriors who are more than their rank suggests. The closest translation would be shadow knife, one who cuts without being seen. Baba Yaga is fine, Frost said. Yes, your forest witch. I have been studying human mythology. Interesting tales. The alien commander seemed genuinely curious. Why did your people name you after such a figure? Frost shrugged. People need stories to explain things they don't understand. And they don't understand you? Not always. Zarthul nodded slowly. I believe I begin to. You fight when necessary but prefer not to. You value peace, but prepare for war. You are small, but find ways to defeat the large. That's humanity in general, Frost said. Perhaps, but you embody it well. He extended his hand, mimicking the human gesture he had observed. In another life, we might have been allies from the beginning. Frost hesitated, then shook his scaled hand. Maybe we still can be. The formal negotiations continued for weeks. The Zalarian fleet remained in Earth orbit, but at a respectful distance. Gradually, fear gave way to cautious curiosity on both sides. Captain Frost and the crew of the Nightshade received medals for their actions. Most returned to regular service. Dr. Grant was assigned to the team studying Zalarian technology. Lieutenant Diaz became an instructor, teaching pilots how to maneuver like she had during the battle. Frost herself was offered a promotion to admiral. She turned it down. I belong on a ship, she told Hayes. Not behind a desk. Instead, she accepted command of a new vessel, larger than the Nightshade, incorporating both human and Zalarian technology. Its mission would be exploration rather than defense. Before she left Earth for her new assignment, Frost met with Zarthul one last time. The alien commander was preparing to return to his empire, to report on the new alliance with Earth. What will you tell your leaders about us? Frost asked him. Zarthul considered the question. That humans are not what we thought. That you are. Not cowards hiding behind diplomacy, but warriors wise enough to know when not to fight. And about me? The alien's yellow eyes met hers. That the human called Baba Yaga taught me there are many kinds of strength, and that I would rather have her as a friend than an enemy. Frost almost smiled. Safe journey, Commander. And to you, Captain. He hesitated, then added, there are other species in the galaxy. Some are like us, respecting only obvious power. When you meet them, they too may mistake your restraint for weakness. Then they'll learn the same lesson you did, Frost replied. As Zarthul's shuttle departed, Admiral Hayes joined Frost at the viewing window. You know, he said, legends about the Baba Yaga are spreading, not just among our people but among the Zalarians too. They say she's a human who can defeat an entire fleet with one small ship. This time, Frost did smile. All legends start somewhere, Admiral. And grow with telling, Hayes agreed. Will the real Eleanor Frost live up to the legend? Frost watched as Zarthul's shuttle docked with his ship. Soon the Zalarian fleet would leave Earth's solar system, not as conquerors but as allies. Sometimes the greatest victories came without destruction. The legend isn't important, she said finally. What matters is that the next time someone calls humans cowards, they'll remember what happened to the last ones who made that mistake. The stars beckoned beyond the window. Somewhere out there, other civilizations waited. Some would be friends. Others, perhaps, would need to learn about the Baba Yaga and the strength that came in many forms. Frost was ready either way.